you've had such a singular trajectory. I don't know of any other actor in the Hindi film industry whose career was completely changed by a short film.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like that only proves what Stanislavski said, that there are no small roles, there are only small actors. And that risk you took, and that was a risk, Lust Stories, Karan Johar's film, paid off handsomely. Did that set the foundation for you to continue to take risks as an artist? Or do you feel that success makes you more conservative?
Well, success does make you more conservative. That is true. But now when I look back, I often wonder, I feel like, would I have had the guts to take that up today? You know, because at that point there was nothing to lose. I was like, here's a chance to work with Karan Johar, who I had grown up watching, and just being directed by him, I'm like, I have so much to learn. So when I set out, it was like I was constantly learning. But I like what you said. I like that you said there are no small parts. And I feel like I've actually made some of my most memorable work from roles that have been not much of screen time, be it Preeti, which people still remember, or Sher Shah. They've been performances. Dimple from Sher Shah, I mean, I still get recognized by those roles. I still have people coming up to me and talking to me about those films, even though I've done so much other work, which even though that's been appreciated, but the way these have been appreciated and these characters have gone on to kind of, you know, I mean, it's sometimes I feel I'm like, okay, now I have to make the next one go past this. So the next time I go meet people, I want them to talk about the last film I did, not like the one I did 5 years ago. But I feel like that's when I realized that it's how impactful you are in those parts. It's not about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes of screen time. It's what you can do with that character. And if I can, in a way, okay, for lack of a better word, the word immortalize a character is coming to my mind, but I don't mean to use that word. But for lack of a better word, if I can kind of make that character larger than life and reach you in your homes and kind of you go back with these characters, then I feel like there's something I've done right in these parts. And maybe that's also because I feel like, you know, as an actor, I feel whatever screen time you have or whatever that part is, you have to make it the damn best part of the film. You just have to make it feel like, man, what just happened? You know, even if I always look at when I watch a movie, I'm like, I hope this scene stays with them. I hope, you know, that climax, that moment, that's her moment. Now, how am I going to? I have to nail that part. And I think that's just how I've approached every part that I've played.
But are you less of a risk taker today?
I'm trying not to be. I'm trying to be as, you know, I'm trying to be as raw and as unaffected as I was before all the success came in. I'm trying to still approach the parts with, it's very difficult, but it's very difficult because people like have certain expectations from you and you're constantly trying to live up to those expectations as well. Because I feel now they're rooting for you. They want to see more. They want you to, you know, they want you to try different roles, to see what is she going to do that's not expected of her. And somewhere in my journey, I think even the last couple of roles that I've taken up, and let's talk about, say, post Kabir Singh in that year, since that was the year that made me taste a little bit of success. I think the films I took up after that were quite risky in terms of a mainstream commercial heroine. I did Guilty at a time when nobody was looking at the OTT platform. It was much before the pandemic. It was a film that I believed in. It was a subject that I wanted to talk about. And it was a film that honestly gave me the most satisfaction as an actor. I just felt like this was perhaps my most challenging part, and till date I feel like I've learned so much, that I take so much from that learning into all the other films that I've, you know, been working on. Thereafter, even in the commercial space, I pushed myself to look at parts which had something to, you know, to leave it, like to leave the audience with a certain thought, a certain perspective. Whether it was good news and talking about IVF, or whether it was Jug Jug Jio and talking about like a tabooed subject like divorce, or very recently Satyaprem Ki Katha on consent. I felt like these were paths I wanted to take to kind of empower and bring that voice, and that needed to be heard. So I feel I am still, the risks are now a little different. I'm trying to meet risk with commercial. I'm trying to take those risks and get a larger audience.
Yeah.
And maybe that's challenging as well. But it's exciting. There's so many genres that I have not explored. I've never done action. I feel like it's time for physical transformation now for me. There's so much. There's a period film. There's so many directors I want to work with. I keep feeling like this is just the beginning. When people say, oh, this has been your best performance, I'm like, it's not even begun. This is just the beginning. There's so much more that I want to do, that I feel I'm capable of doing. And somehow, I don't know, but I think post-marriage, ambition has come into my life.
Really?
I do feel like maybe it just so happens I'm in that phase of my life where there's, I feel like there's a platform now, there's a voice, and there is an opportunity here for me to go beyond what is expected of me, or for me to say much more than I have before. In terms
you weren't
of
ambitious, or as ambitious
I was
before?
very passionate. I was very, very passionate. But I've always been a very easygoing, happy-go-lucky person. Things have come my way and I made the most of it. But ambition has hit me now. Ambition has hit me now when I'm like, no, I want to do more. I feel like there's a sense of, okay, now I know I bring this much to the table, but now I need to push myself, and now I know what I can do with this. And it's just time to value that. It's time to just know what you're capable of. And all along, I was always seeking validation and hearing it from other people. But I think I've, in the last couple of months, been able to sit back and just see my own work and feel like, no man, there's so much more, there's so much more potential that's not even tapped. And I hope to work with people who are going to bring it out of me, but I know that there's a lot I can also do, and there's a lot more for me to do and explore. So I think that's why I say ambition has now kind of really hit me.
Has Sid helped to make you more ambitious?
He's helped to make me more chill, which I anyway was, but he's, it's kind of nice to have a partner who's also in this field, because, there are interesting conversations at home. We do discuss work in a very passionate way, I'd say. Actually, maybe he has. I think with all our conversations, it's probably a little bit to do with that as well, that he's also nudged me to be like, you're capable of so much more.
Go get it.
Yeah, or you don't hold back. Just go and do what you want to do. Would really like to mention Atul Mongia, with whom I, extensively trained under for the part for Guilty. And I want to mention him because he really changed my life. I think he added so much to my life as an actor. He's, I think all the films that I've done thereafter have, everything that I've learned with him while we would do those workshops, I've taken it and used them.
You've applied it.
I've applied it in all the other characters that I've played. So I do feel workshopping before a film really helps. Most of the time, in the last couple of films that I've worked in, I've spent extensive amount of time just sitting with my director and workshopping with him, because I also feel filmmaking is a director's medium, and whether it's the writer, the director, if there's a dialect, then have a coach kind of help you through those to get that right. But I feel sitting with the director and writer really helps you get into the skin of the character. And the actors, workshopping has become, I think every film now we do that. I remember during Jug Jug Jio, we would do it on Zoom, because that was during the pandemic, and it was so much fun because all of us would be on Zoom figuring out, how we wanted to approach a scene. But as an actor, it is important. You've got to keep brushing up your skills. When we shot for Jug Jug Jio, I saw Anil sir, who would walk up and down and just say his dialogues like he was giving he was so loud. We were all sitting on set is he done? Is he done? Is he done? He would do it till you were exhausted. But he would just go for it. And I have so much respect for him, because to see him at his age, with his experience, still at it, like a newcomer almost, wanting to give it his best, it charges you up. So watching all of them, I think, really made me feel also that you need to keep at it. You need to keep, it's not just about viewing content or seeing each other's work. I think you also need to keep meeting people in real life. You draw so much from real life experiences. A lot of parts that I've played, I've actually met with people who've been through similar experiences, who've been able to get me closer to those experiences and make me understand what it feels like. So yeah, I feel there is a lot of homework that needs to be done before getting on set.
So your process is fascinating to one of your co-stars, because when we put out the creatives that this session was happening, he texted me on his own to say, I have a question, can I ask it?
Really? Who is this co-star?
So this, guys, has never happened with any actor who's been on the front row. Okay, so I have to play out his question because it was the sweetest thing ever.
He gave you a video?
He sent a video with a question.
Oh, Gajad sir.
नमस्कार अनुपमा जी, मेरा एक सवाल था, मैं बताता हूँ क्या है कि जब मैं एक्टिंग करता हूँ तो मुझे स्क्रिप्ट मेरे आसपास रहती है, या उस दिन के जो सीन होते हैं वो 2-3 पेज हमेशा आखिरी मोमेंट तक मैं उसको रिवाइज करता हूँ, देखता हूँ, मुझे लगता है कि मैं भूल रहा हूँ, कुछ भूल जाऊंगा। लेकिन सत्य प्रेम की कथा की शूटिंग के दौरान मैंने नोटिस किया कि जो कियारा हैं वो, उनके हाथ में कभी स्क्रिप्ट होती ही नहीं थी, वो सीन भी नहीं होते थे उस दिन के, और उनको सारी लाइन्स याद होती थी मुश्किल सीन्स में। जैसे वो किचन वाला सीन है मेरा और कियारा का, वो या क्रिसमस मासी के साथ वाला सीन, हाँ क्रिसमस मासी के साथ जो कन्फ्रंटेशन वाला सीन है वो इतना लंबा सीन है, इतना इंटेंस सीन है, और वो भी याद था पूरा का पूरा। और खुद की लाइंस याद होने का मतलब है कि आपको अपने को एक्टर्स की लाइंस भी याद हैं, वो दिमाग में आपके बैठी हुई, उसका एक मैप है। तो मुझे ये थोड़ा वियर्ड सा लगा, थोड़ा वो जो सुपरनैचुरल पैरानॉर्मल फिल्मों में दिखाते हैं ना, ऐसा कुछ फील आया मुझे। तो मेरी हिम्मत नहीं हुई उनसे पूछने की, लेकिन कोई उनके पास सुपरनैचुरल पावर्स नहीं क्या कि वो स्क्रिप्ट, मतलब, या ऐसा कुछ है कि हो सकता है कि उन्होंने ये जो स्क्रिप्ट है करण शर्मा जो है उनके साथ मिलकर लिखी है, अपने सारे डायलॉग्स उन्होंने लिखे हैं, घोस्ट राइटिंग की है, इसलिए उनको याद है, या उन्होंने जो उनका स्टाफ है, मेकअप टीम जो है उनकी, उसको जब वो हायर करती हैं उनको, तो इनकी पहली शर्त ये होती है कि सब लोग थिएटर से होने चाहिए, ताकि आते जाते सफ़र में, वैनिटी में वो उनको लाइंस याद करवाएं। चक्कर क्या है, प्लीज पूछिए मुझसे। नॉर्मल नहीं है।
So Kiara, चक्कर क्या है?
Chakkar kya hai? He is amazing. He's so amazing to work with. Okay, so there are two things. One is that I have a great memory thanks to my schooling days, because मैंने रट्टा मार के ना I've passed my college and school and all my exams. So somehow when I read a script, I remember everyone's lines. I know
Really?
everything. Yeah. I just have a great
That's a
memory.
superpower.
No, it's not bad. It thanks to my school days and ratta maroing, I think some good use came out of that. The other reason I don't bring my script, especially during intense scenes. So when I did Fugly, I remember the first time I had this emotional scene in Fugly. I spent about 10 hours in my vanity listening to the most saddest songs that could have ever been, like this full morose playlist I had. And I tried for 10 hours to really feel the pain. Till I got on set and I was exhausted. I had no tears left. I was like, I'm just not feeling it. I don't know what to do. And my director at the time told me, he said, you need to find your trigger. And you can't be living with this for so long. You kind of need to like let it come just at the time you need to, do the shot, like take the shot. And then you let go of it. You can't take it back home either. And this really stayed with me. Ever since, I know a lot of my emotional scenes keep getting, they have a special fan base on its own. But I think what helped was, as I kept reading it for emotional scenes, and as I kept thinking about it, I just became very switch on, switch off about it. I basically didn't think about it too much. I knew my character, I knew what I was doing, I knew the part I was playing, I understood the journey, I understood, I found a connect with the core of what my character has, I understood what my character's core is, and then I would just go on set. And unless it was action and cut, I was Kiara. The minute it's action and cut, I'm not Kiara. Now, this probably will not make sense to anybody but me, but what I'm trying to say is that I found an ability to connect with the character only in those moments that we were rolling. So that it would come to me, and it would really come to me. There have been scenes where it's been difficult to just stop shaking sometimes, to just let go of the emotion sometimes. But before that emotion, I wouldn't work myself up to it. I think like, हाँ ये तो छोटा scene है. So the biggest scene would be, हाँ ये तो छोटा scene है, ये तो हो जाएगा. And somehow that worked for me. And every time I made a scene bigger in my mind, even though it was very intense and big, I think the pressure of it just took away from the emotion.
So you keep your energy
I keep my energy
for the scene.
for the scene. I realized that works best for me. And it happens. I remember Ruchi during Guilty. Ruchi is the director of this film Guilty, who told me, how are you laughing after a major crying scene? What are you doing? And I said, maybe it's a defense mechanism. I don't know. But I've just found this ability to not allow myself to put pressure on those scenes. And when I don't do that, then when we roll, magic just happens. Something just happens where everything I had thought, of course I do my homework, I think about it, I know what the beats of what are the trigger points for the character in that moment. And I do all my homework for that. But on set, I won't keep thinking about it, because I learned the hard way for crying for 10 hours in the van and coming on set and being like, एक आंसू नहीं निकल रहा यार, like कुछ हो ही नहीं रहा है यहाँ पे. So that's when I realized that, of course sometimes you use glycerine and sometimes you get into it more with all of that. But when you cry from your heart, I feel the audience connects with
Really?
I feel so, because I've noticed the scenes that are spoken of, be it Shersha, be it the trauma sequence in Satya Prem Ki Katha, they've been scenes where it's been very honest. I've not needed to use any external factor.
It's come from within.
It's come from within, and I feel like the camera catches that.
Yeah.
So it connects with the audience even more. And sometimes we've got away with it even when the gliss is on. But they've also got into it. But that's because, of course, as an actor, you're still giving it your all. But something happens, like when it's from your heart, there's some magic. Like that Shersha moment, even when I still see it on these reels, and it still hits me somewhere. I'm like, shit, yeah. I mean, like it still chokes you. And how? I'm like, okay, maybe it's because there was something real in it. That's what I've put together. And I feel the same way when I see other actors on screen. I feel like, I can tell, she's cried from her heart. I know that scene is...
You can tell.
I can tell. I hope I'm right. I don't know. But I, as an actor, feel that this coming from...
Yeah.